the purpose of this video, I want to talk about body positivity, how I went from hating myself to loving myself and just really embracing myself, others, and trying to be authentic. I'm going to be referring to my notes. Eating disorder tendencies and things of that sort. I'm not a professional, and I just wanted to share things that have helped me personally a lot. And I don't think that they would apply to everybody because everyone's different. I know that everybody has insecurities. I want to start off by saying that I'm 23, I'm just about to turn 24, so obviously I grew up in the early 2000s, whatever, and at that point in time, the pop culture and the idols, it was like low-cut jeans and flat tummy, you know, skinny. And then it kind of started morphing as, you know, the Kardashians and whatever. So then it was desirable to be curvy and have a huge butt, big lips, but small waist, and still be really skinny in your stomach. I always felt bigger and taller for some reason. For reference, I'm 5'7" now. When I was younger, I was very scrawny. It was just very stick figure skinny, and so I got bullied for that aspect of being so skinny and not curvy. But then at the same time, I would look at myself and feel fat and disgusting, but at the same time I wanted to be more what's considered feminine, and I wanted bigger boobs, bigger butt, legs that weren't like chicken legs. I mean, it was to the point where I literally got saran wrap, bought fish oil pills and vitamin E oil, poked a hole so the juice was soaking through, wiped it on my butt and my chest, was massaging to activate the tissue or something, and wrapped myself in saran wrap to marinate that on me so that I would get a big butt and big boobs. Just wanted you guys to know, if you can't tell, it didn't work. I was going through something kind of weird too, because in my hips my bones are very wide. I remember having to get a bigger size of pants because of my hip area, but then they wouldn't really fit my legs that well. And I felt really big and bad and well because I was having to get these bigger size pants, and it just seems like everywhere I looked, everywhere I went, there was some angel running around saying, I'm a size 00. Oh my gosh, these are actually a size 2 and they're too big. I hate and that type of shit. I mean, I swear, I feel like that shit would happen to me all the time. And I would just feel like a big, gigantic monster. I remember when I would meet people who were kind of a bigger pant size than 0, and that would make me feel not alone. It would make me feel good. Stretch marks on my hip area, which is super common. Everybody has stretch marks. Literally. Guys have stretch marks. I would put makeup on it if I went to the beach. That kind of stuff kind of morphed into me not wanting to eat around people. Then after that, I wanted to be smaller, right? Despite my hips growing. I feel like my body was fighting, like trying to come into its full shape and trying to turn me into a woman. So it morphed into me not eating a lot. One time I remember in particular when I was about 15 or 16, one of my first boyfriends at the time, my first real relationship. And you know, we were hanging out that weekend and I was going here and there and doing this and that. And of course I didn't want to eat because I wanted to be small and cute. I also didn't want to eat in front of anyone. And I remember my friend was with me that weekend too at my dad's house. And I remember finally I was going to eat something after it had been a couple days. Made a wrap that had roast beef on it. And I was scarfing it down so quick because I was starving. Because it was roast beef and it wasn't breaking up that good, like maybe ham would. It was sticking together in my throat or whatever, and I actually choked on it. I grabbed water and drank the water, you know, to try to get it to go down. Then I threw up in the trash can. So basically I threw up everything I had just eaten. I didn't feel good. I felt hot and shaky, and then chills, and I was walking to my room right after that to just try to lay down because I didn't feel well. I had woke up hours later. My friend and my stepmom had assumed that I just like was taking a nap, but I actually passed out. And when I was that age, 15, 16, 17, there's actually pictures of me, you know, with my sister or whatever at a family vacation, and I'm so skinny in those photos. Barely any tummy or anything. And I remember looking at the time, looking at those photos that were taken of me and being like, that's really gross. I genuinely looked at pictures where I was so skinny and thought that I was fat. And that really shows me now, looking back on it more than ever, that I had such a distorted view of myself, and probably others, I guess, I don't know, but it just goes to show you, like, what you're looking at when you see yourself, when you see photos and pick them apart, it's not real. It's not real at all. Obviously, I know the term is body dysmorphia, but sometimes I try to stay away from the terms because I don't want to use the wrong terms or use it wrong and then mess everything up that I'm trying to say. So I actually was starting to become more interested in healthy foods, cooking, exercise, sobriety, all that kind of stuff. So number one is make an effort to exercise for the right reasons. So if you like swimming, but you think doing the Stairmaster will give you a bigger butt, or you think it burns more calories, you need to swim. Go for a walk or run and make an effort to not obsessively watch your steps and calories burned. So what I'm trying to say by this is that obviously I've seen a lot in the eating disorder recovery community, and some people, they stay away from exercise completely. And that's fine, I get that 100% because I've seen it firsthand in myself on my Fitbit, just like obsessively checking, like, oh my god, like, how much have I burned, how much have I burned, I want to burn this much, how many steps have I, like, be aware of these things when they're getting out of hand, okay? I need to be doing it for the right reasons, like my mental health. It makes me happy. It's going to release good, happy feelings in my body, endorphins. Not because I want to be 20 pounds lighter. And not because I look in the mirror and say, I hate myself, I don't want to go for a run right now, but I'm going to. And it's a really sad way to live. Trying to train yourself to move away from that thinking. I'm telling myself, I'm walking right now because it's going to make me feel good. It's good for my mind. I can talk on the phone to people and catch up with them. Okay, so the second one would be move away from the all or nothing mentality. And this was probably one of the most pivotal things for me to be able to just kind of continue on this whole journey. What I mean by this is kind of a couple different things. Basically, I used to think, well, if I'm not going to eat a salad for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and do an hour workout sweating my balls off, then there is no point to do it. Or eating so healthy, working out so hard one day, that it just isn't enjoyable or sustainable at all. I know that you know what I'm talking about when you're like, okay, I'm going on a 10-mile run, and then I'm going to drink celery juice, and then I'm going to eat an avocado for dinner. And it was so excruciating to torture yourself that day, and you're in so much pain, and it wasn't fun or good at all. You got nothing positive out of it. You don't do it again the next day, or the next day, and then you're like, shit. I feel like shit. Basically, this is about making healthy choices that I can keep doing long term. I need to make choices that I can incorporate into my life and that I can keep doing them over and over again. And I like doing it. If I go for a walk, I am more likely to go for a walk the next day or the next day or the next day because it wasn't excruciating. It was actually enjoyable, depending on whatever I did on that walk. So yeah, basically you don't have to push your limits every day and every time that you're doing something for your health or exercising. I guess the other part of this too is involving food. And that this can get out of hand too, you know, watching the calories and being so strict on yourself and everything. And I hate this too. I think it's really sad when people post, you know, what I eat in a day. Only one piece of toast I'm going to allow myself today and this and that. To me, it's making some healthy choices. Even the smallest substitution of something that's just a little bit healthier than the other thing, you could still make healthy choices tomorrow. You could make small choices or do light exercises the next day. You have to remind yourself and have people that tell you too, hey, I know that you feel shitty that you didn't go to the gym yesterday, but that doesn't mean you don't need to never go again and just, you know, crawl into a ball. The only way you're gonna fail is if you stop trying, right? Yes. For instance, if I were to go to Subway right now, order a sandwich, instead of getting it on a wrap or Italian herbs and cheese, I could get it on whole wheat. That's a healthy substitution. Then for dessert, I could cut up some really good fruits that I like and put some whipped cream on it. And I don't know if you've ever done this before, but putting that in a bowl with a little bit of whipped cream, it's actually super good. And one thing I've experienced too is when I'm making those choices, when you're in the flow of doing this stuff, getting out of the habit of eating the processed food or the dessert or whatever, and you're eating more fruits and veggies and all that kind of stuff, it becomes easier and more like second nature, and it's like your body kind of wants it, if that makes sense. So that's kind of incentive too. It's not always going to be this big fight where you're like, oh, I don't want that. Number 3 is how you see yourself is not real, and I kind of touched on that, but now this is actually important. If I were to look at myself and be like, oh, I hate my boobs, someone could then say back to me, who told you boobs were supposed to be a certain way, right? I'll tell you who told me that. Watching a movie or something is on the TV or whatever, and this girl is she's on the TV and she's either got like a shirt on with no bra and you can see her boobs and her nipples, or you just straight up see boobs, right? And I will tell you that every single time as a kid that I saw someone's boobs, you know, in a shirt or out of a shirt, the boobs did not look like mine. Perfect TV boobs. Why? Because they were boobs for TV. That girl was an actress and she was on TV, so obviously she had good TV boobs, because some girls' boobs look a certain way and some girls' boobs look other ways. So that doesn't mean that my boobs are wrong. It just means that my boobs are different than some other people's boobs. But there are also people out there who have the same kind of boobs as me. Same thing with my butt crack. My butt crack is not a typical TV butt crack. There is, I don't know how to explain it. It's like as if I had a tail at the top of my butt crack and it got ripped off. So it's not just like a crack that goes up into my, and then there's my back. There's like a dent, like a space. There's a space up there. I get it from my father. And before I hated that. I said it's not like other butts I see on TV. It's weird. It's so ugly. I hate myself. And now I'm going to be real with you, ladies, okay, people. I can guarantee you're not going to go in front of whoever you want to be with and they're going to be like, oh, your butt crack is a little bit weird. Never seen one like that before. I'm exiting. I'm exiting the building. I don't ever want to see you again. Block my number. Your butt crack's weird. Oh, your boobs? They're not TV boobs, girl. I don't want to or anything because you're weird. Guess what? No one has ever said that to me, and no one will probably ever say that to you. These little things that we're looking at on ourselves, it's not going to stop someone from talking to us, being our friend, getting to know us. And also, why am I not giving myself credit for my nose? Look at my nose. My ears, they're not too big and they're not too small. I think they're the perfect size for ears. I've been told I have nice hands and nice feet. You know, we got to give ourselves credit, and really for every time that you look in yourself in the mirror, you see yourself in a photo and you're like, I hate that about myself. For every time you want to be like that, you need to also say, wow, I love the shine of my hair. I love my smooth complexion. And also, not to mention, when you're looking at that photo, what are you honing in on? Yourself? Probably. We all do it. We're like, oh, what do I look like? What's my facial expression? Am I blinking? Huh. You're not really looking at everyone else in every photo, right? Guess what? When they look at that photo, they're going to look at themselves too. They're not going to zoom in and be like, oh my god, that mole she has got a couple of hairs on it and it's actually like low-key really gross. So I'm unfriending her. Look at this. This is really stupid. I don't care. You're not alone in that. Other people are also looking in the mirror and not loving what they see. 100%. And then number 4. Seriously, let me tell you something. This, phenomenal. Thank you to every single person in the entire universe who has ever posted a photo, a real post about, hey y'all, this is what it looks like when I'm posed, and this is what it looks like when I'm not posed. And let me put something in perspective for you. When you're standing there about to take a shower and you're looking at yourself in the mirror, are you sitting there posing like you're about to take an Instagram picture? Or are you just standing there looking at yourself naked in the mirror? You're probably just standing there. And I'll tell you what, everyone is going to look a certain type of way, a little bit like when you're just standing there not posed. It blew my mind, and it helped me so much every single time I saw a post. All these pictures and stuff, it's very staged to the point where you're doing a specific pose, you're putting a specific filter on it, maybe even face tuning the body a little bit. So all these factors come into play. So when we're scrolling and seeing all these people online, it's like that's not necessarily reality, and we can't say to ourselves that we're bad or so much different than that, because at the end of the day, we're probably very, very similar to them. And another thing that hit home for me too is hearing, you know, there could be different people with different body types on the very same diet, eating the exact same things, exact same portions every single day, and all their bodies would still look different. And that's very true. So that's helpful to know also about stomach rolls or whatever, right? Like sitting and having rolls, you know? I used to hate that, like knowing that I'm sitting down and I have rolls. The thing is that even if I was literally starving, like even if I was 80 pounds and I was sitting down, guess what? There would still be those wrinkles there because the skin would do it. The skin would have rolls and it would just bunch up right there when you're sitting down, and that's just a fact. Just like when a dog sits down. But as women, but men also, as women, we are literally supposed to have stomachs, okay? And I'll tell you why. Everybody has organs in their stomach. And do we have this middle part of our body that's literally holding vital organs? We are supposed to have a stomach. It's not supposed to be sucked in and concaved and flat and nothing. It's supposed to be a stomach because we have organs in there. And when I heard that, it made so much sense. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah. What about with women too? We have organs in our body that are literally meant to sustain an entire human's life. We are literally could grow a human inside of our stomach. So to expect to not have one is really insane. Being healthy doesn't necessarily equate to being the smallest that you could possibly be. For instance, I'm not the smallest that I have ever been. I'm probably actually the biggest I've ever been. But I would consider myself the healthiest in the sense of how much activity I do and what my mind state is and what kind of food I'm eating, how many meals I'm eating. Starving yourself, limiting your food so much that you're kind of miserable, that doesn't really equate to health. I have not huge boobs or anything, but I have curves, you know, I have hips, I'm a size 10. Your body is actually coming into your womanly, full, filled out, healthy shape that it wasn't able to do before because you were younger, and also because you weren't eating all meals and you were not giving your body the nutrients it needs. I have seen before, which significantly helped me feel less unique, because I've seen a lot of women post things like, okay, this is my stomach, this is me when I wake up in the morning, picture. This is me after I eat this meal, or this is me in the middle of the day, and this is me at the end of the day. And you'll see the bloating throughout the day, and then at the end of the day it's bigger, and you think to yourself, wow, when I look at myself and I see that I'm bloating, or that my stomach is bigger than it was in the morning, or all this kind of stuff, I feel gross and like a piece of shit. But in all reality, this is something totally normal that every single woman experiences. And I'll link it down below, but there's a probiotic that I've been taking. It's not helpful for women to act like, and that they're hoo-ha's like flowers, because it's not supposed to, and it doesn't. So, anyways, literally without probiotics, I could eat something and my stomach would hurt just for no reason. Like my stomach would just be thrown off by whatever I ate. And when I have probiotics and I'm taking one probiotic a day, I don't have, you know, all my stuff, my pH is balanced, everything's good, my stomach feels good, my bloating is, it's minimalized, or however I would say that. Pooping is regular, which also makes you feel lighter and better when you know that you're not blocked up and you're pooping. It's just, when I've taken my probiotic regularly, it almost helps my body to feel better to like where I want to be eating better anyway, and it just kind of helps with my overall health. So I 100% recommend taking probiotics, and I can definitely tell when I don't take it because I just start to feel shitty again. So as far as body positivity and kind of what I just said, something that's helped me and that I feel like I'm kind of getting more comfortable with is feeling more comfortable with the fact that I'm a woman and I shouldn't have to hide that I poop or hide that I have a period. And I literally remember in school I was so ashamed and nervous. Like, on one hand, I felt embarrassed because my friend started their period before me and I hadn't started, and I felt like an idiot. So I lied and said that I did when I hadn't started it yet. When I actually did start my period, I felt like I wanted to die, having to take an entire purse or my little bag to the bathroom, because I felt like, the guys would know and everybody would know that I'm on my period, and that's why I'm taking the bag and all this kind of stuff. And you know, I didn't want anyone to hear me opening the wrapper in the bathroom and all this kind of stuff. And this has literally been my existence, like my life, until like maybe 6 months to a year ago. And the fact of the matter is, everybody poops, it's natural, it's normal, and women have periods. That, yes, it's blood coming out of your body, but that's not something that we should feel bad or disgusting or terrible about, because we don't have a choice in the matter. It's a natural thing that happens. So now you can hear me unraveling my pad or tampon, talking about my free bleeding underwear, whatever, because I mean, hello, what's the point of me just feeling bad and feeling like I'm an idiot for something that I can't control? Guess what, guys? The lining of my uterus is shedding and I'm on my period. That means I'm bleeding to death right now. I'm literally, don't make me laugh, don't make me sneeze, I am gonna bleed everywhere. And that is just the reality of it. Why is it, honestly, let's go back to sex ed, 7th grade, whatever grade it was, that needs to be taught. Hey guys, this is what happens, girls have periods, get the fuck over it, don't even laugh about it. I don't understand why it's this big thing, and I guarantee you ask a guy what you do with a tampon and they don't know. They don't know what you do with a pad, they don't know what you do with a tampon, they don't know anything about periods. Maybe they would respect women a little bit more if they really understood what we go through. I'm just saying. Here's me, I know I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea, at least I'm not standing in front of my closet for 50 minutes trying to pick out an outfit that I think the people at the event that I'm going to will like the most. No! If I want to wear a funky shirt with huge red cargo pants, then I'm going to do that. I just want to authentically be myself, just feel really great in my skin. Because it's true. There's people that are literally so sweet and nice. They wouldn't hurt a fly. They wouldn't say a bad word about anybody. There's nothing problematic about them. And there's still people out there who won't like these people. And if you already go into life knowing that, you could show up and be yourself and be like, hey, here's me. If you love me, cool. If you don't, that's to be expected. Because not everyone's going to love me. Just like you could kind of acknowledge the fact that you don't love everybody. Because I sure don't. No offense. Scorpios, am I right? Picture if you walked into a meeting at work and you're in your head that day about the way that you looked or act or whatever, and then you could ask yourself, what was someone in that meeting wearing that day? Like, what kind of socks did they have on? And I'm guessing, 99% sure, you don't know. You didn't inspect their socks. You weren't even paying attention to them that much to know what they were wearing. You kind of need to reflect that back on yourself when you're in your head. Do a reality check and be like, oh wait, no one's thinking about me that much. They're not paying attention to you. And then even if they do notice something about you, they're like, oh, that shirt's a little weird, doesn't really match her pants that good. Guess what? 20 seconds later, it's going to be overridden by, what am I going to eat for lunch today? I wonder what my girlfriend's doing. Their own life takes over. If someone has a fleeting thought about you, it's just a fleeting thought, and then they're going to think about something else. The last thing I said is give yourself grace, be nice to yourself. If you're absolutely exhausted, honor that. Honor your body and say, oh, rest could really help you right now. Even if you're not sleeping and you're just laying down, resting your body for a few minutes, maybe you need to sleep. Sometimes honoring whatever your body needs, whether that's pasta after a hard day, ice cream, dessert, resting instead of running 2 miles. Listen to your body and honor that and be okay with that. Be okay with listening to yourself and giving yourself grace. You don't have to go all the time and beat yourself up because you're not dusting the baseboards when you could, when you have a spare 5 minutes. You have a right to take time for yourself. Put on your favorite show, get cozy, and eat a comfort food. We put high expectations on ourselves, need to get okay with the mentality. You need to give yourself grace and also acknowledge the good things you do as much as you're potentially beating yourself up. Anyways, thanks for watching. Excuse me.